Are you searching for a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world? Do you yearn for more balance, more peace, and purpose in your life? Well, look no further than the Intuitive Revolution podcast, your trusted source for holistic insights and intuitive guidance. I'm your host, Alicia Farricielli, and I am ready to take you on a journey to inner peace and balanced well-being.
Great. Fantastic.
Welcome back to the Intuitive Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Farricielli. Today we have Michele Blood joining us. She's going to have some amazing tips for us about affirmations. I'm super excited to dig into her story and learn more about her. Welcome to the show, Michele. Thanks.
Thank you,
Michele,
Alicia. Lovely to be here.
Tell us a little bit how your journey getting into, I know you're doing some affirmation songs and really focusing on that. What was your journey into getting to that point?
Well, getting to that point was I was a rock singer in Australia, and I loved my life. I'd been on TV since I was 5 singing, and we had toured one stage literally 7 years nonstop. We had no breaks, no holidays. We were just when you got the gigs, you had to take them. We just finished doing a new music video. Everything was great. I was with the truck driver one night coming from Brisbane to Sydney after a gig with all the equipment, and he fell asleep at the wheel. And as the passenger, all the equipment went into me. I won't go into all of it because I don't want someone to lose their dinner, breakfast, or lunch or whatever. But I was in the hospital for months and months and months. And that particular car accident or truck accident that nearly killed me changed the trajectory of my life and took me into just a whole new dimension of living and being. And it all happened when I was in that hospital bed. And what happened was people were sending me tapes and different things. And I heard about affirmations. And everything that I'd heard said, you have to emotionalize them or they won't work. They have to go into the subconscious mind. And this is a long time before. This is the 80s. So this is a long time before neuroscientists have proven all of this. Now it's all proven scientifically. But back then, it wasn't proven, but I said, I've willed myself to do so much in my life, put this great band together, write all these songs, manage the band, get us a record contract. I know that I've affirmed it unconsciously. I've willed myself to do all these things I've been doing my entire life, even though it's tough going as a singer in Australia, touring. So I said, okay, in affirmation, you have to say something positive about yourself to yourself. It has to be stated in the now and it has to be emotionalized. And so here I am lying in traction on a still bed. They couldn't even give me a pillow or a mattress yet. And I said, okay, I want to be healed. So that's a good affirmation because it's not true, but I want it to be true. I am healed. I know I am. I didn't know I was. I love myself. I am my friend. So I kept repeating it over and over again as I'm lying there. But my doubting mind would not for one moment believe it. Doctors coming in, we're going to have to do another operation. And if you do walk again, blah, 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 all these physical limitations, if you survive. Australian doctors are very blunt, very good doctors though. And so I stopped doing the affirmation because I didn't believe it. And I just went back into depression and physical pain. But then about 3 weeks later, I had a full-on spiritual epiphany. I realized you can't get a jingle. I'd sung and written jingles over the years for extra money. Didn't tell the band though, because it was uncool. But I had, and I knew that the reason advertising agencies spend such a fortune is because you can't get the jingle or the song out of your head. So therefore you've got their product in your head forever. So I thought, just sing it. Well, actually, I asked my brother to go and find affirmation pop music, and he said there's no such thing. He couldn't find anything. This is before the internet, so we couldn't just Google something. And so I just had the blank cassette, which I always had for me to get a songwriting idea down so I wouldn't lose it. I would sing it onto a tape. So I just had someone press record on a blank cassette and just started singing. I am healed, I know I am. I love myself, I am my friend. Not warmed up today, but anyway. So I'd sing that over and over and over again until the tape was full. And what was happening, which has been proven now scientifically, that affirmation, the lyric, was going into my left brain, and the melody, just from me singing it a cappella, was going into my right brain. So it goes straight into your subconscious mind. The doubting mind has not a chance. So it goes straight into your subconscious mind 300 times faster than writing it or saying it. And you don't have to believe it, because it's a song. That's why little kids can remember their ABCs. So that's how the affirmation music started, not for me to give it to the public,
That is
but
so
just for
cool.
my own
It's
healing.
like you said, it's like little kids, we're singing, ABCs. I know when I was in school learning about grammar, it was all, we had all these little, they weren't exactly songs, but they're just like little rhymes that we had.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H,
Yeah,
I,
it's
J,
like
K,
this
L,
goes
M,
with
N, O,
this and this
P.
goes with this, and so it's a really easy concept to put together for that. But I love the fact that you said, you can sit there all day long and be like, I am healed, I am healed, I am healed consciously, but if you're not feeling that subconsciously, then it takes a lot longer. I don't think that it's not necessarily going to benefit. It's beneficial, but it's less beneficial as if you're not feeling into it. And I feel like with music, you put music behind it, you can definitely start feeling into that.
Yeah, well, you don't even have to feel it or like the song or anything. It just goes straight into your subconscious mind, just like a jingle. It just works. It's incredibly fast. And so I went on to have miraculous healing, and I went into a studio with a couple of friends, and we wrote I wrote lots of affirmation songs just for me and the band, for our own consciousness, to have more and more success with what we did, because I realized how fast it was. Then promoters were coming out of the woodwork, and journalists, about my healing. And before I knew it, promoters were saying, we want you to tour with Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, all these different people, all these different seminar tours. And I said, I don't want to do that. Why would I want to do that? But they offered me a lot of money. I couldn't believe it. It was like what they offered me was more than I would make as a singer in a year. The band did really well financially, but we had to pay the road crew, the agents, the musical equipment, the truck drivers. So the band didn't have hardly anything. So I said yes, because I thought it'd be great for the band to have extra money, which I would make singing. The first gig in Adelaide was with Deepak. I didn't know any of these guys, by the way. Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer. I never heard of any of them. I wasn't rock and roll. I'm not into whatever they were doing. And so, but they all started raving. And the first gig was like 3,000 people who paid $350 back in the 80s to come to this one-day gig. And I thought that these people were all absolutely friggin' insane. They're just listening to these guys talk about affirmations and visualization, and I'm like, so they had me sing and speak in between each speaker, and I would do what I normally do. I would get people up on stage dancing, and a lot of people knew who I was in Australia, so it was pretty amazing. And so Deepak and all of them, they just raved. They just said, you've got to go to the States, you've got to go overseas, this is amazing what you're doing, you've got to. And they said, make CDs. And I said, what of? And they said, of your music. And I said, the affirmation music. They said, yeah, and we'll sell it at the back of the room and we'll just take 10%. And I just made 500 CDs for the first gig. I thought that's going to be way too many, even though I was touring all around Australia.
Wow.
They sold out by lunchtime the first day. And I was gobsmacked. I just couldn't believe it.
That goes to show that, you don't have to make music depressing, or what you can have, that people really are drawn to the light of good things, of good music, especially putting good things into their brains. That's who we naturally are. That is so fantastic. So what happened after Australia?
Well, what happened was I did a couple of tours with different people. Then I got my band back together and we started touring again. But then another promoter came along and he said, have you heard of Bob Proctor? And I said, no. Just one of those motivational guys again. They said, yeah. And they said, we'd like you to do 3 dates in Australia with him. And I said to the band, look, I've got to take it. It's really good money. And so Bob Proctor loved what I did so much. He decided he wanted me to tour all over the world with him and his wife. They just said, this is phenomena. It's a phenomena. And the audience is so high from it. And we just love it. So, but I gave my band 6 months notice because I really saw how much fun it was. But I decided I was still going to do my rock stuff, which I still did. And I managed to still have hit records overseas in different languages because I was living in Asia by then. And I toured in 26 different countries by then. And I had all my own big seminars by then.
Wow.
But I worked with Bob Proctor for 7 years straight. I ran his business from Kuala Lumpur and all my singing career and everything from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And we did a lot of books together and programs together and tons of seminars. And that was amazing. And then I decided one day I was looking for, my soul was looking for God, because when your oscillation, your frequency becomes faster, it's a speed, it's a vibration, you end up feeling all these things, and everything good was being attracted, manifested in my life that I could ever dream of. But I was soul sick. I had this heart glow and I wanted to know what it was. And Bob said, "You're looking for an enlightened teacher. That's where you are right now." And so I went for 14 years looking for an enlightened teacher. Eventually found one, thank God. And not in Asia, not an old bald man like I thought, a woman 10 years younger than me, this beautiful American woman. And I couldn't believe it. I studied with her for 10 years. I went totally off the grid, stopped doing seminars, stopped doing singing, just studied meditation until I awakened. And now I teach meditation and light transmissions and deep mysticism to students all over the world. So I just had my 15th year
That's
anniversary
amazing.
of
That's like a
enlightenment.
celebration. I hope you celebrated that. Yeah.
Yeah, by doing light transmissions for people.
So let's talk about meditation. I told people meditation is my jam. I love it. It's been life-changing to me. What are some things that meditation has did specifically for you?
Well, when you have a teacher who's enlightened, they actually assist you to become meditated, because meditating, I'd been teaching meditation for years before I met her. But I realized when I met her, this was someone who'd actually awoken and had full enlightenment, and I could feel gold coming from her hands, and just this little stage with a few people, and I was just blown away, tears coming up, feeling tingling on the top of my head. And I was like, what is this? This is someone who knows God. But the way I used to meditate was very different than the way she taught chakra meditation, and also Hamsa Soham meditation, silence, stillness. And as the teacher, who is a conduit of the light, is transmitting light to you, you feel it. And what it does, it assists the Kundalini that's at the base of the spine to want to come up the Sushumna to clear away all the quagmire from your beautiful diamond. People don't feel their intuition because their higher self is blocked with all their past experiences. So they can't feel their God self. And so studying with her and meditating, I just meditated all the time and practice. And it was very, very challenging to meditate, because the whole idea of meditation is to stop thought. And it is very challenging to stop thought. It's nearly impossible when you first begin. It's like people say to me, I've got more thoughts now that I'm attempting to meditate, Michelle, than I ever had before. And I say, that's because now you're aware of all those thoughts. Before they're just, going down rabbit holes. Oh, that pizza smells good. But I'm on a diet. You go down another rabbit hole. Oh, that's a Toyota. I had a Toyota once. Everyone's going down rabbit holes of different world planes. And so when you start being aware of all those thoughts, you're like, oh my God, and I've got to stop thought. So I teach many, many different methodologies, including Kriya Yoga breathing, because breathing with both nostrils clear really helps stop thought. I teach gazing. If you gaze a beautiful picture of, say, Yogananda or Babaji or Jesus Christ, you just gaze it, a beautiful picture of an enlightened being who's left the body, who's not here anymore. It will start morphing into different beautiful beings, and your thought will stop, and you'll notice that you're not blinking anymore when you're gazing them. Because when you're not blinking and when you're laughing, you're not thinking.
So interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. I tell people starting off meditation, like, I can't. I was like, just give yourself grace. Just think the thought and let it leave. Just let the thought leave. It's like it's so much pressure that people put on themselves that they don't do it, 100% right, correct in their minds, that they just give up on it. So to me, it's like, it's a muscle you have to work, and you have to keep doing, and you have to teach yourself to get into that enlightened state of mind. And once you hit that state of mind.
Yeah, and I don't even know if you can teach yourself it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of consistency, I find. If you can be consistent, eventually grace graces you and you'll have a flash of light. Your first flash of light happens when you first stop thought. And that happens many, many times before you go through that stargate of different dimensions when you've got no thought and you're going into an awakening. But I teach many, many different methods to my students so that they can find a method that suits them, that assists them. But I always get them to have, like my teacher did, meditation music, not my music's pop music, but meditation music for them to block out the rest of the world. So at least they're just listening to their own thoughts to quiet them down. And then they can really, really focus on the music, whether it's a drum beat or a violin. And that helps focus the mind so you're not thinking. And then after that, to keep those headphones on and then go into the silence. Much, much easier to help stop thought. And then I just say to them, then we just use all the methods that you possibly can. If thoughts are coming up again, we use the mantra. If another thought is coming up, you just focus on stillness, and if another thought comes up, you start breathing, your Kriya Yoga breathing again. And this is what I did for hours every day for 10 years. And eventually you do awaken. I don't know anyone else out of my teacher's students that have awakened yet, but she was the only one from her teacher that awakened out of thousands of students. So it's not a common thing. But the beautiful thing is with meditation, even if you don't have a full awakening, your life will become better. You're healthier. Your blood pressure is lower. Your immune system is stronger. You feel younger. You feel healthier. You're happier. When your mind is still and it's not, your senses aren't taking you by the throat anymore and saying, come this way to the pizza shop. Yeah. And you become more successful. You definitely begin to, meditation helps manifestation very, very fast because of the fact that you can just focus your attention on one thing you want to create because your mind is still. So you can visualize what you want and nothing else is getting in the way. Your doubting mind doesn't have a chance to say, no, that's not true.
Get out this
You've
meditative
got bills to pay.
I feel like it's almost like when you it becomes almost, I don't want to say an addiction because it's good. Some addictions can be good, yeah. But it's almost like your body, like my mind and body craves it every morning. Like I have to, and it's like a non-negotiable to me to connect with source, spirit, God, or whatever. Like that's my divine connection every morning, my guidance to be able to come to know what I need to do for the day and what I need to release and let go of my day. So yeah. So tell us, for our listeners, let's talk a little bit more about meditation. What are your tips for the very beginning meditator?
Well, I've got so many different products about meditation to assist them, but that I can give them for free. But anyway, I've just got a new book coming out called Stop Thought, which has got transcripts of many, many, many years of my teachings all in one book. So everything that I had ever wanted to know, I've put in this book. All my experiences, what you can do, what you don't do. And so that's a really, really, it's going to be released next week. But what I recommend is you find some music like Pachelbel's Canon. Okay, there's a band called Continuo, and they've got an album called Meditations on Pachelbel's Canon. And Pachelbel's Canon is awesome to meditate with because it's like, da, da, and you can do a mantra like Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum to help you stop thought. Or you can just listen to it and just really get into the rhythm of Pachelbel's Canon with this beautiful album and just be still and just listen to it. Don't think that you're meditating. I'm just listening to a lovely album, but I'm sitting up straight while I'm doing it. That's all. So I'm just listening to a beautiful album. And then after the 2 or 3 songs, if that's all you want to do, just go into the stillness. And if a thought comes up, just go, I am in stillness. In your mind, stillness, stillness, even the word, and then be as still as you can. And then breathe, do your breathing, making sure both nostrils they both have to be clear because the Ida and the Pingala nerves along the spine and along the Sushumna have to be clear. People get into trouble with the Kundalini rushes because they haven't got both nostrils clear. They're either breathing through one nostril or the other one. So when both nostrils are clear, it's much easier to breathe. And when you breathe, if you can do 20 deep breaths or even just 8 once an hour, every hour, even if you never meditate, your life will change. You'll become so healthy because breath is life force, and it will really help you quieten your mind and give oxygen and beautiful red blood cells, and just your body will love you for it.
That makes a lot of sense, that you have to both nostrils and to be clear, to be able to have the full force of breath coming through you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So what about for listeners who are like, I've tried to meditate, I didn't like meditation, I don't think it's for me. What do you have to say for them?
Well, meditation is for everyone. The purpose of our life is for enlightenment, and to become enlightened and successful, you have to be able to stop thought. All the scientists that have ever been that really have made great leaps and bounds go into a dark room, they ask a question, they want the answer to it, and they stop. They have no thought until they get the answer, and they have a pen and a paper and they write down what comes to them. They like get a download. So don't think of it as meditation. If you listen to there's many albums I could recommend, but if you listen to that album and just say, I'm just going to be listening to some lovely music, and just sit up straight so your spine is straight, don't think of it as meditation. Just think of, I'm consistently going to listen to 3 or 4 tracks from this album for a week, twice a day, and I'm going to see what happens, just as an experiment. And if you can find an enlightened teacher who can transmit light, you will feel it. That makes all the difference. When you begin to feel that bliss coming through you, you will want to do it. You'll be working and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't wait till it's 6 o'clock and I can meditate again, because it is so amazing and blissful and beyond any orgasm you'll ever have in your life, girls. I'm just saying.
I love that. Yeah, especially single ladies in a place. I'm just kidding.
Because that rush of Kundalini goes straight into the brain and it stays there, and you get waves of Shakti coming through for sometimes 10 to 20 minutes later. It's not just a 2-second orgasm or whatever it is. I've been celibate for many, many years, so I don't remember, because I don't need to remember, because I have my own spiritual orgasms through breathing.
Yeah. So listeners, that we have so our listeners are a little bit on the scale of just beginning into the spiritual awakening. Then we have some that are more experienced. What is a chakra, or the Shakti? Sorry, explain to that. Explain to our listeners what you mean by
Shakti.
that.
Well, Shakti and Kundalini. Shakti is literally I've seen what it looks like. It's amazing. It's little tiny bubbles of golden, bright blue, electric blue bubbles that are so small. They're smaller than anything scientists on this planet have ever been able to witness. And scientists have actually gone down to the smallest denominator that they think they've found, and they've just seen light, golden light, which is amazing. But these, it's amazing what they've just in the last 12 months even. But their vibration, they are scrubbing the Sushumna. They're scrubbing all the gunk out of there so that your chakras can become activated, because they're not activated because it's all the chakras are along the spine, or along the Sushumna in the spine. They're not actually here or here, or it's along the spine. But you can focus on your heart chakra there if you want to, because you can feel it there until eventually along the spine, you'll feel like an egg. You'll feel pressure coming along the spine. And what that pressure is the Shakti vibrating and scrubbing clean so that your heart chakra can become activated. And that's the only way it becomes activated. Nobody on the planet can clear a chakra. People who say, I can heal your chakras. It's no, they can't. It's through meditations, through light transmissions. It's through you doing the work. And then eventually grace. That Kundalini is omniscient wisdom. It will not let you awaken or have things happen until that's completely clear, so that your cells of your body literally become a body of light. Now, I can see when someone is awakened, but because the world is so blocked, they can't see that the person has light coming from them. I could with my teacher the first time I saw her. It was incredible. But I've known her before, apparently. So anyway. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the Shakti is, or you can call it the life force of God. It is the highest vibration there is. It is the vibration of the divine that is creating everything. We are created from this vibration. It's like the life force, the life blood of the divine, of the eternal, of eternity itself. And so when that light is transmitted to you, you'll feel it because it's a vibration. So when a teacher transmits light to you, you'll feel it in your head, and that invites the Kundalini, which is at the bottom of the spine, to start coming up and vibrating. So it's called Kundalini when it's dormant in the bottom of the spine, but once it's out there and people are sending it, it's Shakti.
And
But it's
everyone
still the
has
same
that
energy.
inside of them. People say, I don't have that. I don't have these. I'm like, yes, you have that inside of you.
Yes,
You just
they
have to, like
do.
you said, activate it and open
Yes,
up and be
you
willing
do.
to for the process to happen for that. So yeah, it's really cool. And I love how you went down, you're like, you
Yeah.
kind of had this, horrible accident, which was almost like your start of your awakening and you didn't even know it. To coming to, you're like, let's try some affirmations to do
Exactly.
this healing thing that I've heard about. And then it worked. And then it became this bigger success, touring with, Wayne Dyer and all the people. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, then you have this bigger awakening that came about. Found the universe works in such amazing ways. It's like, oh, well, I need a teacher. Bam, here you go. There's your teacher showed up. And now you are.
Well, it took 14 years to find her,
Yeah,
though, and I
but
went
showed
all
up.
over the world looking for a teacher. So it wasn't
Right.
easy.
Then after that happened, it's like now you're teaching meditation and just reaching so many more people in a different level than even through the affirmations and through, your rock history. So that is such a cool thing. Yeah.
Well, I like to have all the modalities because they all work. If someone comes to me and they're like, I'm just not into meditation, I'll say, okay, let me teach you a different way. So I've got many, many apps that have got like morning meditations and things for people that don't want to do it themselves. They want help with it. So we have like the manifestation video book and all these different things that really assist you if you find it boring. Because then you receive the light transmissions from the manifestation video book without even realizing what's happening, because you're watching all of the images, you're listening to each chapter with the audio, and you actually see the words come up as well. And then at the end of each chapter, we also have a music video with all the affirmation music, with all these positive images. So when I'm doing Magnet to Money, you'll see money coming up and funny things happening and dogs in the beach and anything to uplift your spirit. No one's ever done it in the world before, a video book like this. And I didn't know that when we created it. I just had the idea to do it without knowing it's never been done before. And it's so much fun because your doubting mind doesn't have a moment to reject it. And you're just watching all these positive images and hearing these amazing topics, how meditation can make you prosperous. And that's many, many people's favorite. But I'm going to give away one of the chapters for people to check out, and Songs for Success, that Bob Proctor actually wrote some of the affirmations to go with the lyrics to Songs for Success album, which all the affirmation songs in that album is all to assist you to be persistent, to be successful. It is to be a magnet to money. It's all about prosperity and manifestation, to assist you to have a positive mental attitude so that what you think about, you will attract into your life, no doubt about it. Millions of people all over the world with all their testimonials to me. Can't be
That's
wrong.
the thing is people think you're like, oh, I'm just going to manifest because I just want the money. But they don't realize what they're manifesting is not really money. They're manifesting the experiences and the feelings behind all that. So that's, to me, that's how manifestation actually works. It's like,
Exactly.
you want if it's like, oh, I just want money to flow in. Well, why do you want this money? Well, so I can feel secure. Why? So I can feel safe. Why? So I can actually be happy. Why? Like, those are all feelings. And so the reasonings behind that. And so I feel like that people start manifesting, it's like, oh, well, I need $1 million. Well, why? Why do you want that? So I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it's very, very simple. If your diamond is blocked, you can't manifest fast. That's all, because your intuition is you are one with God. And when that's filled with all these old negative experiences and hurts, it blocks your, which I call a diamond, your higher self. But when that starts becoming polished and clean through meditation practice, through having light transmissions, through every time that you do something you don't feel like doing, but you do it, you're polishing your diamond. You don't feel like washing up, just a little thing like that. You wash up perfectly. As you're washing the dishes, my mind is becoming clean. You make sure your home is zen, because whatever you look at, if you're looking at chaos and you open the wardrobe and there's shit everywhere, and that's a beautiful mystical terminology, well, then that's what you're going to be attracting. So the first thing I would do for anybody who wants to manifest is clean your house, clean your environment, even the trunk of your car, everything. Make sure that what you're looking at is beautiful. No cobwebs in your mind or in your
life
house.
And your body and your environment, everything like that diamond. Value yourself and your start to value your time and your everything as that diamond. I love that. That's a great analogy. I need to get a little diamond and put on my desk so I can remember that.
Yeah, I give away little diamonds at my events so that people will remember.
So wrapping up, for anyone who's looking to start to get into, they want to get into manifestation or meditation, or they want to look into your affirmation songs, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to give away your beautiful watchers, listeners. Michele Blood, MicheleBlood. It's an Irish name. It's my daddy's name. It's not punk rock. MichelleBlood.com/intuitive. And you'll get the video chapter of Are You a Mystic? So you can see, am I deep or not? The Magic of Affirmation Power book is a great book to give you beginning tips about meditation and affirmations and visualization and how it works in a very, very simple way. KISS, Keep It Spiritual. Songs for Success, the entire album by myself and Bob Proctor, for free, for free. But if you go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any of those places and you get the new book, which is called Stop Thought, Proven Methods for Meditation and Enlightenment. M.A. Blood, I've put down, not Michele Blood, M.A. Blood. But it's the only book in the world called Stop Thought, and there's a big stop sign on the cover. So I'd recommend getting that book for sure.
And obviously all her links will be in the show notes, so reach out, go order that book. I'm excited for your book to come out. Yeah,
I'll send you a few books and things too.
I very much appreciate that. So thank you, Michele, for joining us today. This has been so enlightful. I've learned so much stuff. It's just been amazing. Thank you for sharing your journey with us.